I know a lot of people that openly hate on Overwatch 2, but if there's one thing for sure, the cinematics and the lore of the game are an absolute banger, and I'm pretty sure that most people who play Overwatch do agree with this. Now, I'm quite late to making this video, but this video is just going to give my thoughts on what I thought about the Part 1 Dawn of the Genesis series that the Overwatch devs are now posting. Now, there is spoilers. Now, the Genesis series is a 3-part series, and they're all 5 minutes long. Describe it as an Overwatch anime short, so it's just 3 episodes, basically just talking about how the Omnics crisis started and how it affected everyone. I guess I think that's the point. Now let's talk about the video itself that was posted onto YouTube. I'm going to give this a 7.5 out of 10, which is a very low score for what it actually is, but allow me to explain. So before they uploaded this video or uploaded anything concerning the series, it was basically announced that they were going to put out a short anime series thing, whatever, and it was coming out on this day, and it was going to be 3 episodes long, each of the episodes 5 minutes. I do watch a lot of anime, so I had a lot of high expectations. I was expecting really high quality stuff. Not to say that they didn't deliver on high quality stuff, but I was expecting high quality stuff on a lot of aspects and in a lot of sectors of the short. I was expecting the utmost detail in every scene, basically, because I thought okay, when you look at normal anime or animated shows, artists tend to cut corners because they don't have the time and because, they need to be able to get stuff done, which I'm not necessarily saying is a bad thing. I just think that there could have been a lot more parts of the anime that could have been refined. They could have added much more detail, but I don't know what the time stamp was of how much time they were given for this, whatever and that. One thing for sure, this definitely does look beautiful, and it definitely is. You cannot lie. This looks great. I guess I was just expecting a lot more refinement. It looks refined, but I was expecting it to be a lot more refined. Because when you look at already existing animated shows and animes, they're usually 26 minutes to an hour long an episode. So it's okay, so if it's going to be an anime short as they describe it, then it is going to take that animated route, and each episode is only 5 minutes long. Surely there'll be details everywhere on a lot of stuff, a lot more stuff than what was already presented in the anime. Not to say that there isn't details like this. Like I said, it looks beautiful, but I guess I was expecting much more detail in terms of the characters showing uniqueness with every single one, seeing as it was only 5 minutes long. I'm not involved in the development process of an anime, so I can't really say hey, they tried their best. Hey, they could have done more, yada yada yada. I don't know the details, but that's why I'm giving it a 7.5 out of 10, simply because I expected a lot more from a 5-minute experience. So I'd be harsh. I think so. I think I am being really harsh. The story obviously is a banger. It's giving people an insight of how the Omnics crisis begun, more background into the Omnics and how they were created and yada yada yada. I mean, we only have part 1 right now. Part 2 hasn't come out yet. Pretty good for part 1. We'll see part 2. I'm just hoping for a lot more from this, obviously, seeing as it's 5 minutes per episode and we're only getting 3 episodes. Now, while this is almost flawless, let me talk about stuff that is more outside of the animation itself. So I made a video in the past, I forgot which one it was, but in this specific video I said that Blizzard could easily push the story of Overwatch in a Netflix series, an animated one at that. They could pull off an Arcane but for Overwatch. It's a very big possibility. Why is it a big possibility? When you look at Overwatch as a story, it's a very good story. There's so many unique characters. They all have their own uniqueness. There's a whole Omnics crisis thing, mabob. I don't know the entire story. I'd say pretty much almost everything, or maybe even everything about the story is good, maybe great. It's nearly flawless. So they could deliver the material, onto Netflix and then have people watch it and be oh damn, this is actually really good. And then we get, new Netflix fanboys, and then Twitter complains about gatekeeping Overwatch 2 from the general public because it's a video game. And then, Overwatch 2 can not only go up as a game, but as a brand entirely. It would be a plus for everyone involved. And I say that because I think we're in an era in multimedia where games are now able to capitalize on making series, shows, merchandise, movies especially. It's definitely good to make a game related type of movie in this day and age. We've seen it with the new set of Sonic movies, Super Mario. I think there's a Doom movie, but honestly, I don't remember anyone talking about it at all. Detective Pikachu, Arcane. Wait, that's a series. Okay, you get my point. Now is a good time to make such a move. And in that video that I made in the past, while it did make sense for, Overwatch to, do that thing with the whole Netflix, I mean, this is also good, but they're throwing away a high opportunity by posting it on YouTube. Listen, the entire Genesis series, it could just be a season on like some kind of streaming platform, right? It's been 3 days since it's been posted, probably even 4 at this point, and it has 591,000 views. I am positive this would do like generally better numbers and also get more audiences to be interested in Overwatch if it was on Netflix. It was just a no-brainer for me to have something like the Genesis series that they're doing now to be on Netflix or other streaming platforms like Amazon and whatever. But it sucks that they're just posting it on YouTube. While it's like convenient, if you want to do a reaction video to it, I guess. I mean, I already watched it, so I can't exactly do a reaction video, but it just shows away the potential because this first part 1, is great and it's high quality. I just think it would benefit everyone if they post it on a streaming service, Like, we could be getting the Genesis series on Netflix right now. They post like 1 a week and it's only 3 episodes, so it's not that long. So if you're like a person that's like interested in animated stuffs and you just finished watching Arcane or something and you're like mindlessly doom scrolling through Netflix, you could be like, oh, what's Genesis? I mean, these episodes are really short, like 5 minutes, and the thumbnail is, it teasing me a little bit, and now you have an interest to watch. And then boom, the person watches it, be like, this is the greatest piece of media I've ever seen. Why are not more people talking about it? Then they tell their friends, and it loops. I guess I'm just super annoyed that they didn't, put it on a streaming service, because they really could have capitalized hard if they put it on a streaming service. But yeah, that's pretty much like my only kind of complaint. I guess I could also complain that it's really short too. Like, we're getting 5-minute episodes and only getting 3 of them after like all this time. And it's not like a new story either. Like, we already know the story of like the Omnics and the Omnic crisis and whatever. It's just being visualized now. That's kind of what Genesis is doing now. It's visualizing the story that we've already been told. So I'm just waiting until they actually push the story. So I wish that this was like a longer thing, like 1 season of 8 episodes, each of them like bargain maybe 12 minutes. That's a bargain. And yeah, they could still retell the story, but like they just show it type of thing, like how they've always been doing that, because that's what Overwatch keeps doing. They keep Blizzard for retelling the same story. And it's also that one thing where it just makes sense to be, posted onto something like Netflix. I mean, not to say that, Blizzard hasn't tried. I don't know what the dev team was doing. Maybe they did try and get it on a streaming platform, but all of them rejected it because mid or something. I don't know. I mean, you could do a comparison of Overwatch and Arcane and say that League of Legends has a lot more numbers and is known by a lot more people, and say that's why, they did what they did and it was a huge success. But it is what it is. People of Overwatch are also, complaining about that. The fact that, it's 3 episodes, they're all 5 minutes long. That's what, people are complaining about, which I'm not necessarily mad about. Like, from what, in the Overwatch 1 dead period up to now, and you're only getting a quarter finished PvE and a 3-part anime short series, each episode being 5 minutes. I mean, I can't blame you, honestly. But looking at it individually, this is good. I'm excited for part 2. I want to see what it has. I want to see what more of the story is being told, if there's some action. And I'm just hoping that, they do something similar to the Genesis series, except, they push the story, say like, okay, we're going to be advancing the story and we're going to do it in collaboration with the PvE. So like, you're going to be able to play the PvE version of what you see in this new series called Delta or something. Like, what they could do here, basically, like the PvE comes out next season. So they release the PvE, everyone is able to play the PvE in the season, right? So people play the PvE, then like 2 weeks after the release of the PvE for that season, they basically allow people to watch like the series form of it type thing. So like, here we have Genesis, maybe the next one in relation to the PvE will be the Delta. I mean, it's not the best idea, but it's just something, because I just want them to advance the story of the game. And honestly, a series on a streaming platform is a good way to do it, but also what's a way that caters to that type of thing and also caters to the people who play the game. That's where I'm at. But I'm just gonna stop rambling. It is unfortunately the end of this video, so if you have enjoyed this video, then please do drop a like. That'd be greatly appreciated if you do want to, of course. And also, if you're gonna check out my other videos or past streams or whatever the case may be, then please do subscribe. That'd be greatly appreciated if you do want to, of course. Have you watched the Genesis Part 1 Dawn? If you haven't, I recommend you go check it out. And if you have, what do you think about it? I think it was cool. Obviously, we know that Blizzard can't possibly flop with the animation. Like, this is looking so solid, and they haven't even failed us in the past. So overall, it's going to be a solid series. That's what I think. What do you think? And you know what it is, guys. Peace.